Now to Euronews' correspondent Anelise Borges, who's in Toulouse. Hello to you there, Anelise. So what's prompted Edouard Philippe to make this announcement at this point in the Brexit process?
Well, clearly it was that vote on Tuesday held in the British Parliament. Edouard Philippe, during that announcement this morning, said that after that vote, French officials have realized that a no-deal Brexit is now more and more likely, and it was time for France to prepare for that scenario. So he announced that emergency set of legal measures that have already been approved by Parliament that will include, as you mentioned, measures concerning British nationals living here in France. They will be able to stay for 1 year and keep their jobs, keep their houses and their families, while procuring the necessary documentation, the residence permits to continue living in France. Edouard Philippe also announced that measure, that 50 million euro in investment in order to reinstate several border control measures. Points across France. Edouard Philippe, who also announced that all these border control measures, but also the other pieces of legislation, should be instated and operational by March 30th.
And Anelise, we can see behind you all those military personnel. Emmanuel Macron, the president, has been there speaking to military chiefs, reiterating France's commitment to keeping its troops in Syria and Iraq. What more can you tell us about what he had to say?
Indeed, today marked Emmanuel Macron's annual address to French troops, the sole annual address the French president will be conducting this year. Emmanuel Macron, who's been facing the biggest crisis in his administration so far. He has cancelled all other appointments but decided to come here to the city of Toulouse and has spoken to some 1,600 officers and civilians involved in the army to thank them for their commitment, their sacrifices. Emmanuel Macron, who spoke about the multiple missions France is engaged abroad. He spoke about Africa and the Sahel, but also about Syria and Iraq in the Middle East. And he invited these troops to continue aiming high, to continue going further. He said that he hopes the U.S. decision to pull out from Syria doesn't discourage these troops in the fight against terrorism. Emmanuel Macron, who said Daesh, the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, continues to be a real threat for the region, but for the entire world. And he ended his address here in the south of France, thanking these troops and telling them to be proud of their work, because he, the French president, certainly is.
Anelise, thank you very much for that.